I developed something called the 90-day visibility engine, and I've trained a GPT in what that looks like and how to do that. And using the GPT, you can literally roll out 90 days of content in about 15 minutes. Now, first of all, why are we doing 90 days? Well, because that content will be teach them to think content, and we will rotate that content every 90 days. So in other words, whatever you're doing for day one, that same post is going to be sent on January 1st, on April 1st, on July 1st, and September 1st. Why? Because no one remembers what you posted 90 days ago. Y'all are not that interesting. No one remembers what you posted. They need regular reminders of who you are and what you do and why you're great. Okay? They need regular reminders of that. So if you do your 90 days of content, you just need to rotate that content every 90 days. Now, luckily for me, I've got a go high level system. I don't know what system y'all use for managing all your contacts and marketing yourself out there in the world, but my system allows me to literally go in and post all my social media a year in advance if I want. So literally when I finish a 90-day visibility engine, I take day one and I schedule it to be posted on the first day of each quarter all year. Occasionally, some of your posts might change. So I'm going to teach you now what that 90 days of content looks like, how to do that 90 days of content, and then I'm going to give you guys a link to the GPT that you can use to do it. Sound good? Okay, this isn't television. You're literally going to have to tell them whether it's good or not. Okay, good. Thumbs ups are good, Jamie. Thank you. I appreciate that. That works. Works for me. For those of you who I can see, nodding and thumbs up always work. All right, so the purpose of the 90-day visibility engine is to consistently post content that teaches people out in the world and qualifies them to be better customers or clients for you. Of the 90 days, right, for each week of the 90 days of the 7 posts, 5 of those posts are going to be teach them to think content. One of those posts is going to be brand awareness, and one of them is going to be call to action. That means that 5 of those posts are going to be things like questions, checklists, infographics, little videos on the top 3 things that they could do to do X, right? Whatever is going to give them value, but also when they interact with you, allow you to determine if that person is a great qualified prospect for you. So we're going to talk about the teach them to think first. So 5 days out of the 7, teach them to think content. Now, the GPT that I've created will ask you questions about your offer, about your target market, about how you get things out right now, how often you're going to get it out. It's going to ask you a number of questions. In fact, I think it asks you 14 different questions. Really easy questions, things that you'll know. Once you answer those questions, then the next thing you'll say into the GPT is, now let's create my first week of content. So once you answer those questions, it's going to spit out a brief, and then it's going to say, all right, let's generate the content. So those 5 teach them to think posts will be posts that will either engage people, tell them something they didn't know, right? But it's not going to be join my seminar, check out my ebook. Those are calls to action. So we only do those once a week in the visibility engine. Why? Because when we do other kinds of campaigns like campaign stacking, like I teach about in the free WRN conversion code, when we do that campaign stacking, then we talk about the call to actions and everything in those ones. So we don't need to do that every day in our visibility engine. We only need to do that once a week. So occasionally you may change the call to action in your 90-day visibility engine. It may change to something else, in which case you change those particular posts. But here's what I've figured out. If you just send them to your lead magnet, whatever that lead magnet is for you, or to whatever free thing you give them, or to an ebook, or to a checklist, you send that as your call to action each and every time, then they get into your list, into your email list, onto your text list, your SMS list, so that when you have something of value, you can send it out to them. I wouldn't recommend that that's all you send out to them, but it allows you to actually market to them in the future. So those call to actions for me always lead to the same thing. Now my calls to action always lead to the conversion code, which is a free 2-hour training that we do for WRN members, right? It leads to that every time. Why? Because I know that if they come to do that, then I can interact with them more and I can walk them through my value ladder. so that they find the things that I do more and more valuable. All right, so there you are. You've got your visibility engine. You've put in and answered the questions. You've given it your target audience, right? I recommend, and I taught the visibility engine to do this, that 60% of your content is video content. That doesn't mean you have to be on the video screen. There are a million ways of putting out video content without showing your face. My recommended one that gets the most amount of hits for most of the things we do are what we call carousel posts. Does anybody know what a carousel post is? Yes, no, maybe so. A carousel post.
No.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Lisa. A carousel post is a bunch of pictures that act like a video, but it just shows a picture for a few seconds. And then it shows another picture for a few seconds. And sometimes those pictures have words on them. So I use carousel posts for several of our events, and they work very effectively because they get people listening and engaging, and their video content, which most social media platforms rank higher than just words and pictures. So the engine itself is designed to put out 60% of that video content. Now, here's the really great stuff. It'll write the script for you. So when I did the visibility engine for the WRN conversion code, for example, it literally figured out of everything I said that it could have a different theme for each month. And that out of each different theme for each month, it was going to go through 3 or 4 of the things I did. Now, this is what makes this engine so great. I just uploaded literally a transcript of the entire seminar that I lead. And the engine was like, thank you, I have all the information I need now, right? Like, it was like, because it now has all the key concepts and all the key things that we teach during that 2-hour training. So it just pulls valuable little pieces out, right? And then creates posts out of those pieces. So it will provide you with video scripts for those 60% of videos. So for each week, you will do 4 videos and 3 other posts. And it will literally give you the script of what to say during the video posts. Now, I've used some great tools. I don't know which one Sophia uses, but to do those videos, I've used a script, I've used Canva, and I've used just regular, filming it with Zoom or Meetin as well. So I've used multiple different platforms to do it and several different AI tools to do it. Right now I'm playing in Hey Jen, having a lot of fun playing in that one. Sophia, have you ever played with Hey Jen? Sophia will tell us she's great at playing with new tools too. So there is a learning curve no matter which AI tool you choose to play with. Okay, there's a learning curve. So I built this ChatGPT so that you would have an easier time and didn't have to create and cause long honking prompts before you put them into the ChatGPT. Is there anybody on here who's never used ChatGPT before? All right, fantastic. You guys are going to have an easy time of it then. So the first thing I'm doing is going to go and get you the GPT so you can just play with it. Give me just a second. All right, I'm going to put it in the chat for you. All right, there you go. So get your calls to action clear, which it will be from the information that you've inputted, and then start building your content. It takes me about, the very first time I did it, I think it took me 10 hours to create my content. Now I can do a visibility engine in less than 5 hours for the entire 90 days. Okay. And then all that happens is every 90 days, you go and reschedule the same posts. So you don't have to keep doing the same ones over and over and over again. These are designed to be regular, consistent content that goes out to your audience, training and teaching them on who you are, what you do, and how great you are. Now, remember I said 5 of the 7 is teach them to think. One of them is what we call brand awareness. What's brand awareness? Well, brand awareness is where they learn about your company, your product and service, and it's not as personal. It's about your stuff rather than about you. It could be testimonials. Testimonials are great brand awareness tools. Could be an interview that you did with a client, right? 10 or 15 seconds of that. So brand awareness is when you're talking about how great your brand or your product is, not you. Everybody clear on that one? Yes? No? Maybe so? I can only see Raymond and Gary, so I need to know if you're clear.
Thank you. I'll be back in a second.
All right, great. Awesome. They say yes in the chat. Perfect. Okay, cool. So now that's what we do. And then the call to action, like I said, once every 7 days, you can feel free to do a call to action. What's a call to action? A call to action is when you're making a request of them to download something, click something, give feedback, comment on something, right? You're making a request that they can then accept, decline, or counteroffer. That's a call to action. And you should be using the calls to action for whatever your irresistible offer is. All right, so let's talk about it. So now we've got our 90 days. Does anybody have any questions about the 90 days and what that looks like? Yes, Sarah, here's what I would do. I create exactly once they've created all the posts and all the scripts for the videos, then you can literally use those scripts and those posts, pop them back into GPT and ask GPT to create an image for you or an image prompt for you based on that post. Okay, so that's what you do for that. And I make a lot of my stuff in Canva, 100%. But I have templates now that I've made for certain things. Like I've got carousel templates, which means I can just go in and make new carousels, right? So I've done a lot of that. Very good. Other questions? Yeah, but what abouts regarding the 90-day visibility engine part? I use Go High Level to schedule all my stuff because it's built into the system. It's one of the reasons why I love Go High Level. I'm going to be training Raymond on the tool of Go High Level. That's what I use because I can schedule my whole year in advance. But there are other schedulers that you can use. Off the top of my head, I used to use Hootsuite. It cost me almost $100 a month to use that tool, and I got with them when they were brand new, and I paid $4 a month when I first started with Hootsuite. But I was able to cancel that because it's part of Go High Level system is the social planner, so you can just use it there. But there are plenty of tools to use. I even had somebody tell me the other day, I can't afford any of these tools, blah, 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 blah. I said, fine, then have a spreadsheet, schedule it, put a thing in your schedule for every day for 8:45, right? And go in and post from your spreadsheet, right? Go put your image up and just have a daily occasion every day at this time that you do your posting. If you can't afford a scheduler.